Alright, so today we're going to try to fix a board that has no USB, no DisplayPort, and who am I kidding, probably no FireWire, after a very bad spill in the LCD connector region. So let's go over a little bit of what this looks like, because this is one of those jobs where it's not really about looking at the schematic and the board view, it's more about just using your brain and looking at all the little things that are corroded. So let's see.
No, I'm good. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, let's say, this, this, that, this, this, this. Yeah, this is. I mean, it should be kind of obvious what's going on here. So that's just a lot of crap. The FireWire is one of those things where, like, if it's a couple of little issues, I'll do my best to make it work again. But when it comes to some larger BGA chip for an interface that I know for a fact that the person is not going to use, yeah. If you want FireWire in this particular case, you're welcome, absolutely more than welcome to go to Apple. That's what I have to say there. But for USB and DisplayPort, let's see what I can do. So, FireWire will be a bonus. If I can get FireWire, I consider it a bonus. If I can't get FireWire, then fuck it. So, first things first. On this USB thing, let's get... Beep. Okay, we're just going to get a couple of wires going. My favorite wire over here is, this may look familiar to you, A1286 2011 12 battery wire. There's going to be a lot more where that came from. I don't really trust that chip, so that's gonna get to go. Board I need is always the board that's not available in my donor bin. Here we go. Donor board. Okay. That's dog shit. You need tweezers to do this right. There. There we go. Running in line with where the trace was on the board. That's how I like it. Okay, that's reconnected. So much garbage. Jeez. Again, like I like bringing back Firewire. Don't get me wrong, but like seriously. Screw it, I'll just put a wire from here to there. That's not flat on the board, however that's something that's totally fixable once I have a wire to length. So the wire right now is cut to the length that I want it. Now I can worry about things like making it nice and flat on the board. Yeah, you know what? Firewire is just. This is just. Yeah, about that protocol that virtually nobody's used for the past like 7 years now. Yeah. Again, it's one of those things like if you know the person's using Firewire, And you know that, like, even if I fix this board, if they said that they use FireWire for like recording sessions or something, I would just say buy a new one. Like, I'm not, no, don't rely on what I'm doing for that. But yeah, FireWire is no, nah. I'm not spending 3 hours on that to realize that it doesn't work. Let's see this. What a corroded pile. Corroded piece of shit. Alright, well, let's see if we get anything for USB. So what I'm going to do here is try to test USB and DisplayPort all in just one test. So what I did here is I took the HDMI plug out of my microscope camera over here, and I plugged it into this HDMI to mini DisplayPort adapter that I have that's going straight to the MacBook. I don't have a screen plugged in because I wanted to just boot directly there. And then I plugged in an SSD with this USB 3 to SATA enclosure. So when this turns on, it should show you something on the screen. So if I see that it's booting into an operating system on the screen, I know that DisplayPort is good, and I'll also know that the USB is good. So I might as well test both ports. So I'm going to switch the screen over here so that you can see both at the same time, and plug this in, and let's see what we get. Okay, so it's turning on. I can see it, see the fan spinning. It blinked because this is, this is used to going to a monitor, not an HDMI DVI capture card. Again, if I see an Apple logo and it starts booting, that means I'm good. But I'm also going to test it with the other USB port just for the hell of it, because I honestly don't even remember which USB port it is that I'm supposed to be testing. So I might as well go for both. Again, if you reset PRAM, this would be much faster, and it would also be faster if I just held down Option and chose the drive that I wanted to boot from. I don't have a keyboard plugged in, and when you see what the size of my desk is, you kind of get why I may have chosen not to. Alright, so one USB is good. Actually, with this USB is bad. Yikes. Alright, so let's see if the other USB works. Let's just narrow this down here. So I plugged the other USB in, and let's see what happens. So the first one didn't work. The USB that's closest to the SD card reader didn't work. But the second one, the one that's closest to DisplayPort, works. So at least we know we got something going on here. The DisplayPort works where it didn't before, but we still have a problem with that bottom USB. So let's take a look at why the bottom USB could not be working. I'm going to turn this off, and let's go back to here. So the bottom USB is what we're looking at. Okay, so let's, first things first is to see which one is the bottom USB. The bottom USB is J4600. So let's just move this off to the side. Let's take a look at J4600 here for a second. So J4600, no. This does not go to a USB MUX or a USB hub. It goes straight to the PCH, which, yay! So that, yeah, let's take a closer look on the board and let's see if there's anything that looks out of place. Because I'd rather there be something that looks out of place right in that section rather than it being that the PCH itself is fried, and that's why we don't have a USB port. So let's see. So we're looking for the USB that's closest here. So something that appears to be fried. There's no big surprise here. So this is the, let's take a look on the... Oh, duh, of course you can't see because I don't have the HDMI cable plugged in. Let's just plug that back in. Yeah, you could see over here, this is the USB that this shit happened to, so... I can't really say that I trust this very much, so let's just take a look at what my handiwork was going to. on the schematic here. Alright, so we have... let me figure out where I am. Big capacitor, chip under it, and so this inductor is the one, L4605. So what's up with that? What do you do? V bus. So you take PP5VS3 and you deliver it to the USB port. See on my donor board what that section looks like. Alright, so this is going there, but it also has to make it all the way over here. You couldn't see that. So check it out. So on this board, all I did is kind of half solder this to that, but this has to make it all the way over here and measure 0 ohms on the meter. That's what I'm getting on this one. So on this board over here, see, from this to this has got to measure 0 ohms right here for PP5VS3. So what I did is I just attached the inductor here to kind of some of the scraping over here, but that is not making its way to there. So yeah, that's what the mistake that I made on this one. So PP5VS3 USB AF from L4605 has to make its way not just over to this large trace on the board. It also has to make its way over there, and it's not, because the trace is disconnected from the via the hole over here. So what I have to do is I have to fill up that hole. No funny jokes there now. And put solder in it, and then attach it to there, and then I should have USB. So lots of flux. Get in there. Get in there. Want to flow that hole full of nice fresh solder. Okay, now I'm going to run a wire. Doesn't have to be anything crazy. Nothing nuts. This is not like a USB port is going to be taking 30 amps or anything. Let's get myself... Okay. Now let's redo our test. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the HDMI plug out of the camera. I'm going to plug in DisplayPort again. And then I'm going to take the SSD and I'm going to plug it into that USB port that wasn't working before. I'm going to turn the capture setup on and set it to capture this mini DisplayPort output from the MacBook board. And then we're going to turn it on. So let's do this first. Okay, we have the dual capture setup, and now it should see the drive, hopefully, or it'll smoke. There's a chance it'll smoke, but I don't think it'll smoke. It looks like my wire is going where it's supposed to. What do you think, Apple or smoke? Can't believe I missed that. I see. I reconnected the inductor to the trace, but the trace itself was not connected to the via, therefore nothing was working. Basic, basic, basic. Basic, and I still missed it. Aha! An apple! Which means that that's good. And again, Firewire? No. No, 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 no. But still, that's that. And again, I hope you learned something. This is not really something where you have a lot of really detailed, detailed schematic reading and anything like that. It's just a lot of it was just, it looks nasty, and then touching up the stuff that looks nasty. You still have to know how to do all the schematic stuff for, more advanced work, but yeah. And that's that.